Here we go, guys. Another edition of Les Kevin, More Tech from UTECIT.com.
There you go.
And today, Les.
Yes.
We can say this unequivocally, that today's guest is the coolest guy we know.
But sometimes can he be kind of cold?
He can be cold. But if you need him to bring the heat, he can bring the heat, too.
He can bring the heat, too.
Yeah.
Got it.
You guys are cheesy.
Yes.
Yes, we are.
Cheesy as you get.
You've never heard that before.
Right.
But we got
exactly.
John Boylan from Lakeside Service, right?
Yep.
So
Right.
heating, cooling company, everybody in Livingston County knows us, so we got to make sure everybody outside Livingston County knows what a great service job you guys do and what a great company they're dealing with, right?
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. So, yeah.
You're the first person to ever say that.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. You might even be the last, potentially.
It's possible.
So, John, man, so how do you guys know each other?
Did we meet? Well, I mean, you're a customer. You know, you're a client, but did we meet?
Thank you for saying that. I was afraid you were going to say like at a truck stop, you know.
Did we meet at the chamber, or how did we really get connected?
Actually, our first interactions, and full disclosures, we've been a customer of yours personally, you know, and I think you met through my mother-in-law used you guys, and we needed air conditioning at the house we bought and some heating checked, and so she recommended you guys. And then through that, used you off and on, and I think really then through Pam with the chamber.
Yeah, I was involved with the chamber, and you were donating stuff at the time. Not donating, but helping them out, I would say.
Yeah. We worked with them, and I think you were chair. You know, when I really got really engaged with, you know, we knew Pam and had worked with the chamber before, but there really our engagement through that. So
you're happy with him?
Hell yeah, that's why he's here, man.
Yeah.
So what's the hallmark of his business?
I'll say it and then tell me if I'm wrong, but it's customer service, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So why do you say that?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, that's really what we do. We don't fix furnaces. We fix people's problems. You know, you can be a good technician, and if you can't make somebody feel good when you're leaving, they don't feel like you did the job. So it really comes down to customer service, which makes my business a lot like a lot of businesses.
Right.
Yeah, don't say that because there's not a lot of businesses like you guys. I think.
Well, I appreciate that.
When we say customer service, and I think Les tries to, you know, pound this into our salespeople, make them aware of this, and we believe it as a company. It's really customer experience, I think, is what you're saying, right?
It is. Yep.
You know, anybody can service something, but it's the experience that you have that separates the winners from the losers, right?
Yep. And like you just mentioned, Les, it really comes down to your people. You know, it's easy to find technical training, whatever your industry is, right? Whatever you sell, the manufacturers, they have plenty of that. You know, how it works, what it does, what the brochure says. But the interaction between the people, you know, with the actual client, and you know, it's one thing for us if we're the owners or we're the people that are, you know, we're the one driving the ideas.
Yeah.
It's easy for us to have that energy, but to instill that in your people, that's the real trick, you know, to get them to represent, you know, what you feel inside about your clients when they're in their home.
Yeah, right. So
yeah.
Soft skills kind of.
Really?
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing that you bring that up because entrepreneurs, like Kevin's an entrepreneur, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the business in some sense of the word is like your family, if you will.
They're in there, yeah.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying it's like a child, you know,
Yeah.
that kind of thing, right?
Yeah, they become your family.
Right. And so employees, you know, they have a different agenda, right? They're trying to get a paycheck to take care of their family, right?
Yep, they do.
And so you're saying that, or what I think I hear you saying is that your hallmark is the customer success experience.
Sure.
But you get it by transferring your emotions to your employees.
Yep.
Is that right?
Yeah, my dad will tell me all the time, you know, our first customer is the employee.
Oh,
So,
wow.
Yeah. Because if you're not taking care of them, they don't take care of your customers.
So have you ever fired any customers in your career? Unfair question. I retract the question.
Yeah. No, it's okay. You know,
You still happy you're here?
No, it's, you know, I think anybody listening to this can relate. I mean, we, you know, so.
Well, I mean,
I'm not going to answer the question,
but you know what? It's if you there, it's really, you know, in a sometimes in business to business, things happen, and
They do.
you know, you do have to part ways with a customer, or you know, or vice versa.
Sure. Well, there's a variety of reasons that happens, and sometimes it's literally what's best for everybody involved. So.
Yeah.
Well, you know, Les, I'm not sure if you're aware of it, but we have a lady that works here, and just, I don't know, 6 weeks ago, it was right before Thanksgiving or whatever, her heat went out in her house. And we, you know, it's been a warm winter, spring, fall, whatever, but it was actually cool during that time, and temperatures were down into the 30s and 40s. And she was on the phone, and I overhear her talking, and she's talking to the service manager that, I got this quote, but this guy was just a jerk, you know what I mean, on the phone about this whole thing. And she was trying to ask questions to become educated on it and understand the whole process. And the guy just got mad because she kept on asking. He says, ma'am, I've wasted too much time with you. Either you're going to buy it or you're not. And she was like, what do I do? And I said, hang up.
Yeah.
Why are you not talking to John at Lakeside? Sent John a text, and within 15 minutes, as people called, they were out there that night, offered to, you know, if you needed a hotel, did you need heaters? They would bring in heaters because, you know, the furnace was shot and it was going to take, you know, you had to get a furnace in there. But, yeah, I think her price was, you know, 2/3 of what it was, a half or 2/3 of what this guy was trying to charge her. And he was just trying to take advantage of the situation. She needed a furnace.
Yeah.
And jam something in there. And these guys stepped right in, and Terry's thanked us immensely.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah, for
No, I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that.
yeah. So I mean, it was just a testament, you know.
Yeah, right.
They called, explained. I mean, the guys are great on the phone. The guys are great in person. I mean, it was a customer experience. You know, anybody could have sold her a furnace except for that idiot for that other company. But you know, it was an experience, right, that she's been raving about since then.
You get much referrals like that?
Yeah, we do.
Really?
And so thank you, first off, for thinking of us, because, you know, it takes presence of mind just to be there. But, yeah, that's, I don't, you know, referral work, because there's a lot of timing involved, right? Because people call us when they're in need, when something breaks. So, but, yes, we get a lot of that. If somebody's around, they say, no, you know, please call Lakeside. You guys got to call Lakeside. At least give Lakeside a chance. So, and then the way you win when that happens is, you know, you respond as fast as you can, and you take as good a care of them, because now you're not just taking care of them.
Yeah.
You're taking care of the person that brought your name up. Their reputation.
Right,
on the
right,
line.
yeah.
So
That's awesome.
yeah.
Great testament.
Yeah, thank you, Kevin.
And I like the point you make is that people usually aren't calling you for a furnace when it's working well,
No.
or an air conditioner,
No.
right? You know,
No.
hey, I just think about changing this out and
No.
get the blue model instead of the red one. You know, it's in a time of need, right? And there's always angst and anxiety around that, right?
Yeah, it's a different type of purchasing experience.
Right.
You know, any like 24-hour service company, you know, the first thing that you have to do is let them know you're going to take care of them. Like that's the number one thing, because when they're calling people, you know, especially after hours, they don't know if people are going to call them back. You know, there's a lot of anxiety, like you mentioned, in that experience. And then, you know, you can just imagine what goes through someone's mind, right? They don't have heat. They're worried about their house or their pets. They're worried about what they're going to pay because it's after hours. Like, just all this stuff is going through their mind. So, you know, we try to tell our technicians the first thing you have to do is just let them know it's okay. You called the right person. We're going to make sure you're all right. And making sure you're all right is the first thing. So let's get that taken care of.
Okay.
And it works really well.
I'm not even sure you're. I'd throw out one more example while we're propping you up. Is that no? Seriously, 2 years ago at Christmas time, it was it was when it was 0 out. You know, if you remember that, it was the weekend. It was the day before Christmas, 23rd, 24th, and our renters, their furnace went out.
Was that last year?
Yeah.
When we had that just blistering. Yeah.
You got it. And I thought, oh man, it's an old furnace. You know, it's got to be replaced. I'm sweating bullets, but I mean, it was so cold. Like, what do we got to do? And I'm trying to. So Carolyn calls Lakeside. They said, hey, we'll do the best. We'll be out there first thing Saturday morning, and do what we can for you. And then there's a technician called and said, hey, I wrapped up a call. I can zig this way and make the stop on the way home. Will somebody be there? And heck yeah, and they stopped by, and guy walked in, and as funny as it was, they didn't refill the heating oil or something.
Oh,
like that.
you're
The furnace.
kidding.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
all it was. But I mean, still, he took the time on his way home because he knew that they were down, how cold it was. He would have been very easy right before the holidays for this guy to go
Right.
home. He did his job, right? He's what he's supposed to do. He looked at his call log and said, hey, I could zig this way and go left and
Good
stop on
job.
the way home. So, I mean, it's the stuff like that Lakeside does.
A little extra.
Man, I hope our guys do that every
Yeah,
day, and think that
absolutely.
way.
Yeah, I'd love to take credit for that, but a lot of that is, it's just having good people. It really is that care. We do tell our team that you're never going to get in trouble for, some little thing like that, like for doing a little bit of extra. Like, you'll be at someone's home, and it might be someone that's elderly, and they can't change a light bulb in their garage because the ceiling's too high, or just anything like that. I've had guys, and we don't tell them to do this. Like, it's not intentional like that. But I've had guys, take 20 minutes and shovel somebody's sidewalk off for them, stuff like that. And it's that experience. And I wish I could take credit for that, but it's really just having good people on your team, which I'm blessed in that sense.
Good customers on your team.
Good customers.
Yeah.
Good customers to serve the other customers.
Yeah, right.
For sure.
So that's a cultural thing. So you are
It is.
responsible for that.
Well, I would give credit to my father
All right.
because he raised me, and it's really just trying to improve on the great foundation that he built.
Your dad started this.
Mm-hmm.
Did you learn it from him? Did you read books about this, or is it just something innate to you that because that's the way everybody wants to be treated, right?
Right.
Just do the extra stuff.
I'll give credit to my mom for that one.
Okay, there you go. We got her on here.
Yeah.
She's the one to beat it into both of you, right?
Yeah, she is you treat people the way that you want to be treated, or you get, she'll let you know.
But it is a culture, right, Les?
Yeah,
and
it
it's
is.
just something that, it's more than a saying on a wall or a poster or
Absolutely.
something like that.
Yeah.
You got to do that and lead by that example every day, right?
I think I try to. I mean, I don't have a hard time with that though. Just being good to people. It's always been something that's rewarded me,
So when did you know you
lucky.
wanted to go in the business?
Oh,
So let me ask you that. Let me
that's
flip it around.
that's a really good question.
Let's say you were 10 years old. Was your old man running around saying, pass me the wrench? Or, you know what I mean? Were you in it?
There
at
was
the
some of
get-go?
that. There was some of that,
Yeah.
but it wasn't. No, it wasn't forced on me for sure. It was early in my life. It was easy to fall into because the company was there, and it was a
Yeah.
summer job, this and that. And but I'm pretty strong-minded. So by the time I was 22, I was pretty certain this isn't what I want to do because I have to do it for my dad. And I think it must have been probably 2009, 2010. I had gone off and done my own thing for a while. I had a partnership that didn't work out.
Yeah.
And in a totally different industry.
I was going to ask that,
nothing
right?
to do with this. It was in the motorcycle industry. So, and I saw the family business. It was a tough time right after the housing collapse and all that
Sure.
stuff.
Yeah,
So,
right.
and the stress my dad was going through. And I didn't leave the company on the best of terms when I left the first time. It was sort of like,
Your dad had to fire a customer, huh?
yeah, exactly. Well, he didn't have to. He should have. He probably should have let me go before I left. I don't know. Maybe a lot of guys are like that. They just think
Sure.
they know more than their parents do.
Yeah.
Don't appreciate what they're being given when it's in front of them. But I really felt for him when I saw what he was sacrificing at the time to make sure everybody kept their jobs. And I won't say that stuff on the air, but he put a lot of his personal life on the line. And I told him, I said, I'll tell you what, I'll come back and work for you. I said, I don't need a salary. Just let me do sales. You can let the other guy that's working for you go because he was, business was slow and that guy had a salary and he wasn't performing at the time. And I came back, and it was just a different motivation in me. It was, helping.
It clicked?
Yeah, helping family. Started to see just what he'd done. Plus I got schooled myself. I had a bad partnership. I just lost a bunch of money, and I thought, I should probably take a harder look at this family thing because it's got a great reputation, and I'd seen how hard it is to build something like that, and just. Yeah, so I came back, and from there we started building it to where we are now.
Reputation's hard to get and easy to lose.
Oh, so much.
Yeah.
So much.
That's awesome.
I don't think anybody that's had their own business, right?
Mm-hmm.
That has kids hasn't walked down the path that your dad did, right?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
That I got this 20-year-old dude that thinks he knows more than me, and is because he makes it look easy, right? And that's funny, but you almost kind of got to go through that, right, to get to the other side.
I think you really do. You have to appreciate it, and if you haven't put your own skin out on the line and lost it, and you know the value of what that is, it's just an impossible thing to not take it granted.
Yeah.
Take for granted. You know,
right.
You can't give it to somebody. You can't give somebody success.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah.
I think what's the line? The only place that success comes before work is in the dictionary.
For real.
Used to have an old boss that
so
said
true.
that sometimes you got to crash and go through the windshield before you recognize you got to wear the seatbelt, right?
Right.
You know,
Yep.
and
That's cool stuff.
Yeah, I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for the experience. It's funny. You listen to a lot of, you read books, you listen to these people talk about how grateful they are for the failures that they had in life.
Oh, yeah.
And until you've really, kicked yourself in the butt is what it really is. But until life kicks you down and you get back up and you realize what you can do if you apply, and it's so hard with young people today. And I don't mean to generalize it, but I mean any generation of young people, not just today's.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, what was your dad saying when you were 20?
Oh, man. I owe him so much at this point in life.
He can't be our son. I never raised anybody this stupid. It would not come from me.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's the mailman look like?
But just if I could package it and give it to young people, because there's so many of them, and as you've been through it, you see them, and you recognize those qualities in some of them, right? And you just want to give them the ability to see what they're capable of, so that they can just run with it. And I've had a lot of guys that work for us. We do a lot of training, and they'll get to a point where they'll go off and start their own business. They'll do it on their own, and I've never felt bad about that at all. Because in some way, like I'm just proud of them. Like you said, they become like family. So some of these young guys that come up, and young girls now too in our industry, when they get to that successful point, it's just really cool. It's really cool to see them when they take off.
That's refreshing to hear you say that, because I think that we've always tried to operate with that same mindset that you want them to do it the right way, and we've had some people do it the wrong way, and we're trying to enforce that. But you take a sense of pride in that, right? That
do.
The guys that come in and develop, because your dad chased his own dream, we chased our own dream. You're living your own dream like this. That if you could help get other people started and they do it the right way, you cheer for them, right? It's not a loss. It's
not at all. We need more people doing that. It just in general.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. No, it's pretty cool. It's a really cool feeling.
Yeah, it's a broad statement, because there's a lot of societal movement right now against entrepreneurship and small business. Right?
Yep.
And a good leader should never stand in the way. That should be his goal. You don't want to lose you don't want to lose good people, but that should be your goal, is that you develop people, because you should be developing the next guy behind them. But you want to see somebody, guy or gal, go on and be successful and carry it forward, right?
Yeah. There's certain themes in life, like being a good father, right? It transfers over to being a good boss, or being a good manager, being a good leader, being a good partner. And it all comes down to. And I had a mentor tell me this once. He's like, your success will be determined by how much you help other people succeed. And it's like that simple, And then when you're young, it's like, no, I got to get there first. You know what I mean? But then as you get older, like what you were just talking about, and you get that inner feeling of like, wow, like that's like legacy stuff, right? It's something that when you're ready to, you're laying in your bed at the end of it all, you'll look back on those people and you'll feel like you accomplished something, It won't be how many sales you had in 1997 or whatever, It'll be the people that you affected their lives.
So are we looking at a memoir? Philosophies from an HVAC magnet?
Yeah. I think, my medium in life has just turned out to be heating and cooling.
Yeah,
you know
right,
what I mean?
Yeah, I gotcha.
So for real, it just that's what's so cool about life is it doesn't really matter what you do with it.
Yeah.
It's how you do it, and where you how many people can you touch, and anybody can do it. I was blessed. My dad had this company. I was stupid though. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I really admire people like my dad. You know, the young people that, because he was very young when he started what he did, that have the support from a wife that's willing to stand, or just whatever the partnership is, just to go out and take that risk.
Yeah.
As I mean, on top of the odds that are stacked against you, just having the courage and the endurance to do it, you know.
Yeah, but you know, there's a lot to be said for not dropping the ball. I mean, there's some.
Yeah.
What was it, Leon Lett, the guy, the cowboy that fumbled on the 1 yard line going in?
That guy's never going to live that day.
Yeah,
Right?
no,
We're still talking about
right.
that.
Yeah. So I'm just, you know, so there's something to be said with.
There is a lot. If you're speaking on the second generation aspect of it, there's a lot of failures in that. For what we just talked about, I believe it's because, as dads, it's really tough to be tough on your kids. You know what I mean? Sometimes. I think if Les's reaction.
He's got 3 boys, and one of his sons is in their business with us.
Oh,
so yeah,
right on. Cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, it presents a lot of challenges, but, you know, tough love sometimes. You know what I mean? But it is love. You know, it really
absolutely.
is.
Well, what's cool is that in good times, even with good parents, good you know, good offspring, it's tough in a family business, right?
Oh.
You know, and you guys go back to 08, 09 when you jumped in, and you know the recession we were in, and homes, and to have that as a unifier, it was kind of neat, you know, to bring you together, and then you just kind of had to put your nose down and work, right? You couldn't have time for bickering or
at the time it didn't feel that way. But you know, you look back on it, and everybody loves a comeback story, really. You know, and we were in a really bad spot at that time.
Do you have siblings?
I do.
Yeah. Are they in the business?
They are.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. It's another layer.
We could talk about that for a while. There
Which
might
one's
be a lot
screwing
of
up the
edits.
most?
Yeah.
Point them out.
No, you know.
Let's draw attention to them.
I work with my brother, my actual brother, and I have a stepbrother also. And the funny thing is, my brother, his IQ it eclipses me so much. You know, he is so smart, but he's our service manager, and he's perfect. The guys think he's like psychic because they'll be telling a story, and he'll be able to tell them what they're doing wrong without really because he's heard it so many times, right? And I just think, wow, I could never do that. You know, it's so interesting how everyone kind of finds their role and grows within that role. So I need them.
Yeah, right.
Him. Yeah.
Probably need you also.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I like to try to make myself valuable. I don't know if he thinks it all. You know, he does. Yeah. No, we have a good relationship.
Yeah.
But it's challenging.
Hey, you talked about young people and the challenges now, and you know we face it in our industry sometimes. You know, HVAC may not be sexy or glamorous. You know, and selling copiers and printers aren't. You know,
you're not
sexy
going to
or
buy
glamorous.
the
you know, but
the
how do you,
HVAC calendar. You know?
Right.
you know, we tried selling some, but they didn't go anywhere. So we're back to selling copiers. But how do you guys do that? Or do you put a focus on that? Or is it a sense of urgency for you?
Which part? The calendar? Because no, it's not.
How do you recruit the young people? How do you guys
boy.
consciously go after that and keep them engaged?
Well, you know, Washtenaw got a program. They have like a HVAC
Great
programs.
program. Yeah, we're real familiar with WCC and love
Awesome.
them.
Yeah, they're great people. So we get involved. I got involved with their. They have like an advisory board, so we get to come in, and every once in a while they'll invite us in as a guest to just talk about the industry to their students. So that's one way. The high schools, you know, you can get involved with them. Although that's actually become competitive because the labor market is so
tight.
It's very tight right now, especially for skilled trades. But I really think it's across the board. It doesn't matter what your industry is. So, you know, we do that. A lot of times it's, you know, the guys that work for you, it's who are your friends? You know, which ones have jobs?
Which ones need jobs?
Who's living at their mom's house? No, okay, not that guy. And sometimes
That's where we find our IT guys, man. They're down there in the dark in the closet, you know.
Different target, though, different market.
The recruiting secrets.
And we just need to look for a bunch more now after they hear this. They're all going to leave.
Amy sells with she's probably using these tactics right now as we speak.
Well, the other place is parents.
Yeah.
Customers that are parents will often, I think they believe it's like the military, where they can just drop them off at the front door. No, I'm just kidding. No, but we get phone calls and say, hey, would you give my son a shot? And sometimes we'll take them, just meet with them. And if they're interested, they can even do a ride-along, just kind of spend a day with the technician, see if you really like it. So it's tough.
Mm-hmm. You got anything else for him?
Oh, we could dive into this whole family dynamic thing.
Go for it.
But actually, I just wanted to spin back around on from the business perspective. So you're wearing merch, right?
I didn't realize this was on camera when I came in.
Well, that's okay.
Or I would have worn my merch.
How do you, as a business, treat your vendor, your suppliers, and how do you evaluate? Do you change vendor? Just curious on that part.
Not very often.
No,
I value my relationships a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But boy, is that like seems like a dying trend.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure in your industry, the manufacturers, and they have pressure that's on them to do specific things to meet specific metrics. Luckily we don't. I mean, you can get most of what I purchase online these days. And I mean, I'm not even. My dad will probably say, "Why would you say that on a broadcast?" But everybody knows it.
Well, hold on a second, Kev. Would you feel comfortable installing a furnace?
I hope not. Ask his wife.
Yeah. Before or after the life insurance policy.
Right. But it's no different for us than it is for our customers. We really want to deal with someone that we know we can call when we need them, and they'll actually take care of it when the product comes dented or comes damaged or whatever that situation is. So, we really have a focus on trying to treat them really well.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you treat them well? Well, you pay your bills on time. You do, real simple stuff. Don't call them to help you run your business. It's amazing. I talk to my TMs sometimes, and it's the stuff they're doing for other guys. I'm thinking,
wow.
Well, isn't that important? Because you're a dealer, right? An independent dealer, business guy like we are, and you've got to have good people, but that's often overlooked. And you got to have great partners, right, with your manufacturers, and you got to have guys, and you got to treat them right so that they want to treat you right.
You do,
and that's an important part. And I know for us, COVID was a great litmus test to see what kind of partners we really had, and we were fortunate that we got the right partner. Sharp was off the charts, unbelievable. Epson was great. I mean,
were they?
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was wonderful. I mean, Sharp came to us, and it was funny. I'm in a peer group like you are, of guys around the country, and Sharp immediately when they shut down said, "Do not order anything. Save your cash. This is going to be ugly. We're going to need to get through it. We'll work through this together." All the other manufacturers are calling, "Hey, I need you to place the order by the end of the month. Get this stuff in." They were trying to sell the last thing they could.
Coming.
Yeah, it was just a completely different mindset. But that's
what a peek under the hood that is.
Yeah. But it reminded you that because you thought you had good partners, right? And, but it just reinforced that you did.
I think it shows how they were running their businesses too. Were they prepared for a downtime? Do they? You know what I mean? How you can tell a lot about what happens when things get slow.
So I talked to what is Jeff's title? Yoshida. He's president and CEO, I think, of all of Sharp
Americas.
Sharp Americas.
Yep.
And so I asked him, I said, why did you, what was in your mind there? And what he told me is that they saw their competitors and how they were reacting. And he said, and this is the word he used, we saw fear. And when we saw fear in their eyes, we saw opportunity for us.
That's awesome.
Yeah, isn't that though?
That's awesome.
And that is a peek under the hood.
Yeah, that's what you would call an alpha right there.
Right? Yeah, exactly. You saw fear.
But what great leadership.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah, they made phenomenal adjustments in real time.
Yeah, obviously, because everything was in real time during COVID. It was, okay, what's today's change? What's today's challenge?
Well, it's funny. You look back, and Sharp was not a leader in the marketplace at that point,
Really?
And their market share has grown immensely, and now they are a leader. Now they are the benchmark for everybody else, and it takes wisdom like that. It takes confidence. It takes, you got to keep on thinking because nobody's prepared for that. But,
Yeah.
how do you react when
Right.
you face adversity?
Right. Well, exactly. That's like it's a battlefield decision, right?
Mm-hmm.
When something just turns in the heat of a moment, and you got to make really critical thinking decisions with very limited information. And he made the right one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's good stuff.
That's cool. That's a really cool story, actually.
Yep. I was going to ask you. So Carrier's your is that a
Primary.
Yeah, that's your primary.
Yeah, we're a factory dealer.
Okay. What does that mean?
Well, okay. So in our industry, the manufacturers have like criteria. For one, they only allot certain factory dealers, and then there's a certain amount of training.
Mm-hmm.
There's just certain commitments you have to make to the brand.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean that's really what it is.
All right. So you got to be like the supreme loyal level 3.
Yeah, something. I don't know what the level 3 is, but yeah, you do. It's them building customer loyalty through programs where they offer benefits. Like we can, factory dealers might have better rates on financing.
Mm-hmm.
They might have, different perks that aren't available without it.
Well, it's a good time to point out, too, that Johnny's going to post your cell phone number. And if anybody calls after 5, that they can get 25% off their next furnace or air conditioner.
Thank you.
Yeah,
30%
right, Johnny?
if you call after 9.
Yeah.
And I'll install it.
Same day.
Right.
No, hey, I appreciate what you've done for us as customers, for our friends and coworkers. But I appreciate what you do for the community. You're a leader in the community with the way you guys give back. You're somebody out there raising the bar for others to meet from a service level, customer experience level. But you guys always have time to give back to community. You haven't forgotten that. That's a big thing. I think I've heard you say it before too, and we've said it certainly. It's not that things don't happen, right? Because they're dealing with people and mechanical things, right? Things are guaranteed to happen, but it's how you resolve it and how you address it. And I think that's the customer experience that Lakeside uses to separate from other people.
I appreciate that, Kevin.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool stuff. He's got a question for you.
Well,
Kevin
this is
does.
Les's favorite part of the show because, and it's our listeners' favorite part because it means it's over. But this painful death march has come to an end. So we always like to close out. Les and I are fans of bourbon, and we like to ask our guests when you are done selling those furnaces after hours at home and you reach for that bottle, what do you reach for? What flavor?
I really don't drink, Kevin. I mean, I really don't drink. The last drink I had was probably at the Chamber golf outing.
Okay.
Which was when was that, September? So, but I like Basil Hayden. I like Angel's Envy.
Perfect.
So hopefully that helps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
And H2O.
Well, here's to many years of great service and continued success to you, John.
Les, Kevin,
Yep.
cheers.
Yep.
Thank
Cheers.
you, guys. Thank you.